Because I'm sitting there looking for the toy. I know I'm looking for the toy. And so I look it up, and it's called scotoma. Scotoma is an actual condition that every human being faces. Scotoma is something really interesting. Here's what it is. It's a mental blind spot. It's where something is right in front of you, but you refuse, because you don't believe it's there, you literally refuse to see it, and because your brain is gonna do what you believe, it literally blinds you to what is right in front of you. That the toy that was sitting right in front of me, I refused, before I even went looking for it, I believed it wasn't there, so my brain validated that for me and made the toy not appear to me. But because my son believed it was there, he walked right over and picked it up. That I'm a human being that can see 2.6 million light years away if I believe I can, but I can't see a toy in a bin if I don't believe I can. So how many of you right now, you're sitting in ACN, and even though you may have come in looking at our business, you may have experienced ACN scotoma. You might have showed up to this arena with ACN scotoma, where you walked into the arena believing maybe partially you might possibly, perhaps if all the things went right, be successful. But if you actually sat in this arena and you actually listened to what the trainer said and the testimonials from the promotions, then hopefully that mental blind spot was cleared up for you. Because until that mental blind spot is cleared up for you, you're fighting us on your success. We're literally having to fight you because you're blind, and we're saying, no, you can see, and you're saying, no, I can't. I can't see myself one day getting up to this microphone and giving my testimony. And even though the podium is here and there's no one behind it, there's no one there right now. That means that any one of you could be back here. Any one of you, but you don't know what this looks like until you get here. We can't send you a picture of that moment when you saw the Hardings get promoted to RVP. We can't send you a picture of that moment when the Dowlings got promoted, when Mr. Crowder got promoted to Platinum. We can't send you an Instagram of that moment. If you're not in the moment, you're not in the moment. And as long as you're not in the moment, you're being stubborn. You're being hard-headed. In Jamaica, we say the hard head makes us soft. Yeah. Or are you all Jamaican too? And because you can't see what your mentors see, and your mentors see your future so clearly, and they're so excited for you, but you can't see it, for us it's like, for us who are working with you, for those of us that have to work with you, when you don't see what's possible for you, when your mind isn't clear, like the Andromeda system, 2.6 million light years away, we have to like drag you. And dragging someone who doesn't want to go somewhere is like dragging a donkey up a hill. You know, it's like have you ever dragged a donkey before? Have you ever seen a donkey drag? Look at that donkey. Does that donkey look happy to you? The donkey's suffering. The donkey's suffering. The man pulling the donkey is suffering. Look at the hill that guy has to go up. He's got to drag that donkey up that hill. So until you can see what's possible for you in ACN, we're dragging. We have to like, come on, please get qualified. And before you come to the international event, everything's a big deal. Everything. My digital phone service didn't connect properly. I'm very dissatisfied. No one showed up for my home meeting. I'm very dissatisfied. And because we know what ACN has, here's what it sounds like for us in the company. Ready? Listen. Listen clearly. No one wants to listen to me. I can't make the training. I can't go to the nationals. I don't have any money right now. My mom doesn't want to do this. My husband won't support me. Everything that's not a big deal is a big deal. Everything that's small is huge. It's not, you know, someone said there's a big world out there. It's not that the world is big, it's that you're thinking small. The world is not big. Everything's a big deal when you don't have the vision of what ACN is, and you don't have the vision at home. The vision isn't going to be dropped in your living room. You've got to go to the vision. You've got to go to the vision. Isn't going to just show up for you just because you're a nice person. You got to go to the vision. But you got to want the vision. One day I'm walking around in Baltimore, and some of you have been in the cities. You've probably seen something like this next picture. Tell me if you've seen something like this next picture. I think you need to forward the slides, because I think my clicker's dead. See here. Perfect. How many have ever seen that before? Go back one for me, please. Go back one. How many have ever seen something like that before? You have, right? And here's what most people do, and here's what I did until I had a breakthrough. I saw a man digging in the trash can, and my instant reaction is pity. How many have ever gone to pity? You feel sorry for them. Some people look at that man digging in a trash can and they feel disgust, like, oh, that's disgusting. I would never do that. Some people look at the man digging in a trash can and they create a story. Oh, he's probably on drugs. I'm not going to help that guy out. How many have ever done any of the things I just said? Pity, disdain, create a story about that person. But here's what I realized one day when I'm looking at this man in Baltimore, off a place called Northern Parkway, digging in a trash can. I realized that that man digging that trash can doesn't care about what I'm thinking about him. What I realized that day when I looked at the man digging in a trash can was that that's a hard thing to do, to have thousands of people walk by you and judge you every day for what you're doing. But you can't think about them because in that trash can is food. Listen to me. Listen clearly. He's too hungry to care about what I think about him. Listen. That man digging in the trash can is more connected to the hunger of his belly than the opinions of my mouth or my head. That he blocks me and everybody else out because in that can, one person's waste is another person's meal. And there's nothing more important to him in that moment than eating. So you looking at him with disdain, pity, credence, doesn't matter to him. He's too hungry for that. And then I realized this is, by the way, this connects. That so many times we get stopped because other people look at us going for what we want to go for, and we get stopped because they look at us with pity. Oh, I would never do that business. Disdain, oh, my cousin tried that. That will never work. Or creating a story. Maybe things are worse off for Janet than we knew. Who knew? And we let that opinion stop us until we get to an event. We let the opinions of other people, we're here we are going for what we want to go for. And sometimes you're going to get dirty in ACN. It's not always pretty. It's not custom suits and fancy cars and private planes and yachting up. That's not what it is. It's going from living room to living room, telling a story, knowing most people don't want to necessarily hear your story. They don't want to necessarily be a part of your story. They're going to look at you crazy for telling your story. But here's what it is. You got to be too hungry to think about them. You've got to be hungry at a level that whatever is going by you, around you, near you, walking around you, all those opinions flying by you. I would never do that. I would never do that. I would never do that. You can't listen because you're digging for something. You're hungry for something. There's something more. And here's what's so funny. One person looks down upon, what one person considers to be trash, A man found $200,000 in a trash can while digging for food. Listen, he went digging for a meal. He was hungry enough to go digging for a meal and got more than he was digging for. Listen to me. When you are in pursuit of something greater than yourself and you're willing to get dirty for it, you're going to get infinitely more than you dig for. And if you're willing to let the opinions of other people go, because when you come to these arenas, how about instead of buying their opinions, how about you buy these people's opinions? How about you buy your own opinion? How about you bring other people to the international training event with you so they can catch the vision with you? How many of you feel like your vision right now is at a higher level than before you walked in this weekend? Yeah. You see, because I realized I was building my ASIN business, some things were happening to me. I realized that there's things that you have to go through. But when I realized that if I got people to come to the events, that I wasn't going to go through it myself. That we could do something together. Because your vision keeps you hungry until you reach your goal. Your vision, my vision, your vision, the vision, whatever you want to call it, the vision will consistently come until you figure out how to win. You see, until you have the vision that comes from being in the room, until you're in the room, until you're sitting in the seats, you can't see yourself behind that microphone. But let me ask you a question. What if you got really good at sharing the vision with other people that they needed to come to the international training events? What if you made a commitment that you're already going to San Jose, you're registering today if you haven't already done it, so that you can handle that conversation. So the only conversation we're having is how many people are we bringing. See, until you're committed yourself, we gotta spend time driving. What sound does a donkey make? Yeehaw. What sound does a donkey make? Yeehaw. What sound does a donkey make? Yeehaw. So if we gotta say, all right, you gotta get registered, I'll do it later. Yeehaw. You gotta get registered to come to San Jose. Let me talk to my boss. Yeehaw. I'm not sure that I can make those days off. Yeehaw. As long as we have to go and engage in those conversations, we can't even talk to you about what ASIN can do on the stage. There is no microphone for you as long as you can't talk you into being great. If you can't talk you into being great, that doesn't exist for you. This isn't here. But if you can talk you into being great, then you can talk other people into coming with you to find out how they can be great. And when they come with you and find out that they can be great, then you go from an individual to a team. And then we go from a team to a movement. But it's got to start with who? Where? Where does it start? Now. Now. When you bring people to national events, they have the ability to catch their own vision. How many of you heard a story this weekend and it just lit you on fire? That's right. But it's not just about the vision. Nelson Mandela said, action without vision is only passing time. Vision without action is merely daydreaming. But vision with action can change the world. Your world can change if you're willing to do something. 80%. That's the statistics that we found in our team. 80% of the people that came to an international training event and brought double digits people to the next international training event, 80% of them went on to become team coordinators or above. 80%. How many did they bring?
Double digits.
Double digits. They didn't just bring themselves. They're not they're not professional event attenders. They brought people with them. Because you never know what the missing piece is. What is the thing that is missing? What is the one thing, the one idea, the one point you can hear that once